Hi everyone, Emily Price here with the Price Group at Keller Williams Realty. And today it's time for your monthly market update. That's right, I'm going to take you through everything that you need to know when it comes to just how the Greater Louisville, Kentucky market is trending as we head into November here in the fall of 2025. So join me and I'll let you know everything you are going to want to know. First up, we're going to talk inventory. Inventory refers to the total number of properties available for sale in our market. The market we're looking at, as you know, is the Greater Louisville, Kentucky housing market. So just how many homes are there for sale today as we head into November of 2025? Well, drum roll, because right now we have the largest amount of homes for sale that we have seen in quite some time. In fact, it's the highest amount of inventory that we have seen in over a year. So today, there are over 3,632 homes for sale right now in the Greater Louisville, Kentucky market. Okay, so about 3,600, hold that number in your mind. Now let's talk about how does that compare to where we were just a month ago. So we're progressing our way into fall. Here we are closing out October and rounding into November. Well, where were we at the end of September? We were lower than that. We were at 3,401 property on the market. So we've increased by over 200 properties. Okay, well then where were we at the start of 2025? Now 10 months ago, right? We were significantly lower than where we are right now. We started the year with 2,400 homes on the market. And again, right now, here going into November, we have over 3,600 homes on the market available for sale. Now, where were we this time last year? So if you think about the autumn season, and again, we're going from October to November. In 2025, we're at 3,632 properties available for purchase. This time last year, same exact time, we were almost 1,000 properties less. We were at 2,707 homes available for purchase. So that means that our inventory, you guys, it just keeps climbing here in 2025. In fact, when we look at this time of year versus this time last year, we have an increase of 34.2%. 34% more property available for buyers to choose from today than this time last year. Also means 34% more property for sellers to compete with right now versus this time last year. As we continue to talk about how the housing market is trending in Louisville, Kentucky, one of the metrics that we want to pay close attention to is what is the average sales price. So right now, the average sales price of all properties that have sold in the Greater Louisville area today, and today as we're transitioning out of October and into November of 2025, the average sales price has been right under $400,000. We're sitting at $392,915. So right at about $393,000 is the average sales price for Greater Louisville. Now, $393,000. How does that compare to rewind 4 weeks ago? Well, 4 weeks ago, but just 1 month ago, we were a little lower. We were sitting right underneath $367,000. So $393,000 today, $367,000 this time a month ago. So, but let's take it back to the start of the year. How did we start 2025? Our average sales price in Louisville, Kentucky, when it comes to the housing market, we entered the year right under $362,000 as an average sales price. And then this time last year, so we compare where we are right now, October to November of 2025, to rewind this time last year, 2024. At this time last year in 2024, we were right under $330,000. So this time last year, $330,000, and then where are we right now? We're at $393,000. So properties continue to appreciate. The demand for real estate in Louisville remains strong. And with all the choices available on the market, it's a great opportunity for buyers. And with the sales prices still continuing to climb, it's a great opportunity for sellers. As we're taking you through the monthly market update for the Louisville, Kentucky housing market, we also want to make sure that we pay attention to what the interest rate is doing. Now, interest is the cost of borrowing money. So when homeowners get a mortgage in order to purchase their home, the interest rate affects the buyer's affordability. The lower the interest rate, the more the buyer can afford. The higher the interest rate, well, that mortgage affordability starts to get tighter. So where are we? Well, great news. Today, going into November of 2025, we are seeing the lowest interest rate that we have seen in a full 12 plus month span of time. So today, our 30-year average mortgage rate is sitting at 6.19%, just a hair above 6. That's awesome. The 15-year is sitting at under 6 at 5.76%. Well, how does that compare to a month ago? A month ago, it was a touch higher. The 30-year was at 6.37% and the 15-year was at 5.89%. Well, how does it compare to the start of 2025 back in January? Hey, bet you guessed it. Today we're lower than we were at the start of the year. So at the start of the year, we were at 7.17% on average for the 30-year rate, and we were at 6.5% on average for the 15-year rate. Okay, so that's awesome and good to know, right? But now let's look at how it compares to this time last year, so year over year. So year over year, going into November of 2024, we were at a 7.03% 30-year rate average. Fast forward 12 months, and here we are going into November of 2025, we're at a 6.19% interest rate. That's almost a whole point lower. Great news for everyone out there in the housing market, right? How are we going on that? How are we doing on the 15-year rate? Well, this time last year, we were sitting at 6.49%. And today, in the fall of 2025, we're sitting at 5.76%. This fall market is shaping up to be extraordinary in that the inventory is up, so there's more choices, right? The average sales price is also up, which is really great for the sellers. And the interest rate is down, which is fantastic for buyers' affordability and also really good for sellers because the lower the interest rate goes, the more people, the bigger the audiences that can afford the sales price that you want to charge for your house. Great opportunities in this fall 2025 Louisville, Kentucky market. When we're talking about the housing market and we're evaluating how it's performing and how it's trending, one of the metrics that we want to make sure that we're always discussing is called the absorption rate. The absorption rate looks at the amount of property for sale, okay, so that's the supply, and it compares it to the number of properties being sold, which is the demand. So basically, that's the basic rule of supply and demand when we look at the absorption rate. So an absorption rate says if the amount of inventory, properties on market for sale, were to freeze and no new properties were to enter the market, and yet if the pacing of the buyers, if the demand from the buyers stayed the same, how long would it take for that level of demand to buy out all the available inventory? So what we tend to think about in real estate is that anything from a 0 to moving upwards towards a 5-month absorption rate is considered a seller's market. A 5 to 6 month space is considered a balanced market, which never lasts long. And then that 7+ month market is considered a buyer's market. So we always want to pay attention to how we're trending. And again, this is a relationship between supply and demand. So the short end of the story for 2025 is that we have consistently stayed in a seller's market, not a red hot seller's market, but a fairly zesty seller's market at right under on average a 3-month absorption rate. So let's talk specifically. Today we're at 2.88 months when it comes to absorption rate. We're going into November of 2025. 4 weeks ago, we were a little bit less at 2.81. Now, what's interesting is that's exactly the absorption rate that we were at the start of the year. We went into 2025 at 2.81, and again, today, 10 months later, we're at 2.88. That's basically the same. Now, where were we this time last year? 2024 showed it being just having a little bit more pep in its step. We were at a 2.64 absorption rate this time last year compared to today's 2.88. So again, that's simply a measurement of the relationship between supply and demand. We are staying right underneath that 3.0 mark, which means that we are in a stable consistent, seller-paced market. And again, though, with the amount of inventory, which means choices for buyers, with the inventory going up and the interest rate going down, even though from a supply and demand perspective, we are strong for sellers, the opportunity is real strong for buyers. So as you're keeping your finger on the pulse of the Greater Louisville, Kentucky housing market, one of the things that you want to pay attention to is just how long it is taking for the house to find its buyer, right? And so what we're talking about is we're talking about days on market, and we're talking about days on market from the time in which the seller says for sale and this property is available for purchase, to fast forward the time where the buyer makes the offer, the seller and the buyer negotiate it, and they come to the win-win, and it's under contract. So we're talking about the time from for sale to contract accepted, which is not to be confused with the total time of for sale till I go to the closing table, right? So this is just how long does it take me to get my executed accepted contract. So today, as we go into November of 2025, we're sitting right at 40 days on market. It's taking just a bit longer, almost a month and a half, but a bit longer than a full month for a seller and a buyer, boom, to find each other. Now, 4 weeks ago was about the same. We were at 42 days on market. This time last year, it was a little slower. In January, we were seeing closer to 2 months at 52 days on market, and today we're down to 40. And this time last year, so this is important to note when you compare going into November of 2024 with going into November of 2025. This time last year, properties were moving a touch bit faster, probably because the inventory was more restricted and there were less for buyers to choose from. So this time last year, it was taking 34 days to go from for sale to under contract. And today it's taking about a week longer, going to that 40-day mark. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, you're going to want to do so right now. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can follow along with me, Emily Price with the Price Group at Keller Williams, because every single month I'm going to walk you through just exactly what you need to know to have a great understanding of how the real estate market is performing in the Louisville, Kentucky area. You can count on me and all of my partners here at the Price Group to make sure that you're informed and equipped with the right information, because clarity is power, and we are your #1 real estate resource. Hit subscribe right now because you don't want to miss any of the updates that come from us.